Hi, welcome everybody to another edition of Rostie Talks. I'm Tyler Blackwell, joined here today by Steve Lamb, CEO and co-founder of ioFabric. How are you doing, Steve?
Very good, thanks, Tyler.
Good. First and foremost, thank you very much for being here and joining us on our third edition of the new revamped Rostie Talks. It's an absolute pleasure. Tell me a little bit about ioFabric and what you specialize in.
ioFabric specializes in providing data as a service, which simply means we wrap up all of your on-premise storage and seamlessly integrate it to the cloud under an umbrella that lets you control data as a service.
And sorry, for maybe the layman terms out there, for people who maybe not understand the industry you're in, could you explain that a little bit more simply?
Sure. So today's storage is complicated. You don't know how fast you're going to get your storage. You don't know where your storage is coming from. You have to do backups, you have to put it offsite. There's lots of steps involved in making sure your data is secure. So what we do is we provide all of this under a service offering. We take all of your on-premise gear, seamlessly connect it to the cloud, and turn it into a utility. So what is a utility? You turn on a tap, faster water comes out, slower water comes out. Maybe you want it warmer or colder. These are the controls you get, and you don't worry about where it goes, just how you want to use it.
Great. Tell me a little bit more specifically about the product that you offer at ioFabric.
The product from ioFabric allows you to customize and control from an application viewpoint how big, how fast, and how protected you want your application's data using any of your on-premise storage gear and seamlessly connected to the cloud, allowing you to migrate data to and from without thinking about it, and also allowing you to migrate your applications to and from the cloud.
And with the cloud being relatively new within the, in industry and storage, how long would you say that you've come up with the idea of having ioFabric, and actually how long have you been around?
So the ioFabric team started work in 2013, but we've been working together off and on for 20 years on different industries such as e-commerce, firewalls, authentication, and storage. And so it's taken us about 4 years to come with the product.
And who would you say are the main clients or customers of yours, and who are you really targeting to provide your service to?
So people that need data seem to be everywhere. Data is growing at 50 to 80% per year, compounded, but budgets are only growing at a few percent. So a lot of companies and a lot of different verticals need the product. We sell exclusively through the channels. The ones that seem to have predominantly larger needs would be financial, healthcare, and manufacturing.
So within the industry of data storage and data servicing, are you seeing a sort of an influx number of companies who are offering services similar to yours?
There are several companies that are coming and trying to fill the gap, and I think from a competitive differentiation point, we're able to blow them away.
Yeah. And what is it about your competitive advantage that sort of makes you feel that confident about the services you offer at ioFabric?
The underlying ability, I need to draw an analogy, right?
Of course.
You talk of a car, right? Everybody can build a car. So why is Tesla's car better? Because it's intelligent and it has different technologies such as batteries. And it's those underlying technologies that I'd have to geek you out in storage to explain, but generally we make it easy to do with artificial intelligence, and we have some new technologies that enable you to do different, simpler things, such as give you the utility of water equivalent for data.
And how large is your team?
I have just under 20 people.
20 people. And do you see that number growing over maybe the next year, maybe the next 2 years, or do you feel pretty confident with the team you have now?
No, my team's distributed over 3 continents, so in Australia and in Europe and Canada, and I probably will be doubling the team within the next year.
And with having teammates in Australia and sort of overseas, what are some of the benefits and sort of maybe some of the downfalls of having a team that's such widely spread out?
Well, the benefits of having a team that's spread out is you get to take advantage of local culture, local phone calls, local travel. The disadvantages, I find I'm up at different hours of the night,
right?
And sometimes communication takes a little extra long. But as long as you're used to it and you manage it, it's actually quite useful.
Do you find that the industry in data servicing and data storage is pretty universal throughout the entire globe as far as what companies are needing from services from yourself?
Yes, the advantage of data is that it is language independent and it's geography independent. Everybody has it, everybody needs it. And an English product, which is where our product's only in English, works just great because you don't see it. Right. It's invisible, and it does its job behind the scenes.
So what are some of the pieces of hardware that you need to be able to operate your business on a day-to-day basis?
Well, the key component is the future needs to go towards commodity hardware. So you need to have some commodity hardware, you need to have some places to store data, and you need to be able to have a cloud. And so our software runs on that and connects them together to be a cohesive whole.
What is the cloud in the most simplest fashion? How would you describe the cloud?
Oh, it's very simple. It's somebody else's computer. Well, when you're renting a car, it's somebody else's car. You're just renting somebody else's stuff.
So are you able to provide the actual hardware to create the storage, or are you yourself renting then from some sort of storage facility to operate your services?
So from a cloud point of view, we enable cloud companies to compete with Amazon and Apple.
So are they the two main players basically right now?
Microsoft, Amazon are the two major players, with Google and Apple being in the mix.
And Amazon just launched a pretty big storage facility. Are they not over the last 2 or 3 months?
In Canada, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's not global. That's just.
They've already been global. Now they have one where your data, if you're Canadian, your data stays in Canada, which was a big concern. When you think about putting things in the cloud, you have to worry about the residency of your data to make sure you don't violate any law.
You would think it would just all of a sudden be there.
All data is becoming to have the same rights as a citizen rights as you and I.
That's crazy actually. That it's moving that far, and it's just information, and it's being classified as far as geography, like you said.
Well, I think think of it the other way around. It's we don't want our scientists going to Iran and North Korea. We don't want our data going there as well.
Now, are they doing that because they're scared of people who are able to hack these days and obtain information illegally? Is that what basically the main goal behind doing that is?
If you read the papers, it might be illegally, but it also might be you're afraid that when it crosses the boundary, the laws governing access to that data are by the country it's gone into. So if you put your data in the U.S., U.S. subpoenas will be able to get your data. Put your data in North Korea. Well, it's North Korea laws that have access to your data. Keep your data in Canada, it's Canadian laws. You know those laws, and those are the laws we live by.
And what inspired you to get into the industry?
Well, in working through the different industries that I've talked about, the firewalls and the authentication authorization and e-commerce, it always came up as a common problem. How do I keep that data secure? How do I get it faster? Why is it so slow? And we realized that it was complicated, and what we wanted to do was make it simple. And it's not really, I want my storage simple, it's really, I want my application data to be simple. Okay.
And where do you see this particular industry going maybe over the next 5 years, 10 years?
Well, as we evolve, there's a lot of different applications coming out. The most common framework now is Docker, and they have different needs and desires. So you have to be able to be flexible. So flexibility is going to be a big key, but it's usually talked about as agility. And being able to flow your data from on-premise to the cloud seamlessly back and forth. So I think the cloud providers are going to have a huge growth. And I think on-premise, we're going to be able to contain the number of devices we need. And that'll be for our data we want performance from. And then we'll overflow to the cloud for data we want protection and capacity from.
And now you are located at the Rostie Group. Been here just about a year now. Mm-hmm. What is it at the Rostie Group that was so attractive and made you want to create this as your mainstay and your home base?
It was you, Tyler. So the Rostie Group, we looked around at multiple places, and the Rostie Group was fantastic on location and services, and it didn't compare.
And how long had you been in the previous location that you lived in?
About 18 months.
18 months. Great. Okay. And where do you see the benefits coming from of actually being in the Rostie Group? I know that you said there was no comparison between some of the other options that you did explore. What is it about the Rostie Group that really made it feel like home?
Well, there's a couple of aspects. One is really the key one is location. It's other than being a beautiful place to look out and see, the location is very convenient. We're beside Union Station, so I have a huge area to pull upon for staffing requirements. I'm downtown where a lot of millennials like to work, but being beside Union, I get to pull across the GO train. Being beside Union, I get to pull across the subway. And being beside Union, I actually get to pull across people who like to drive to work. Right. So I get a huge crowd.
And we are located in an Oxford property, which is now called the Water Park Place. What are some benefits you're seeing from being in such a large complex? We're actually considered a Class A building now. Is there any other sort of aspects to the facility that have really drawn your attention as well?
Well, the real nice thing about being a Class A building is the airflow. You don't turn it off on the weekends. The heat's always consistent.
Right.
Having that A building criterion, I've had a couple of ones that have been B minuses in the past, is fantastic. Being able to get security and access cards and feeling safe is also very important.
And I understand again that the location is sort of one of the more important things that has drawn you down to this area. We are on the waterfront. Do you utilize the waterfront area outside of maybe 9 to 5 business hours?
Well, I think 9 to 9 is our business hours, but the waterfront's beautiful. I mean, it's great to look at, it's great to walk by, and I do greatly enjoy it. As I do also enjoy walking down the path on the dreary days like today when it's raining or when it's snowing. But honestly, in the summer, I much prefer to walk outside.
Thank you very much, Steve. I really appreciate you being here for our 3rd edition of Rostie Talks, and I can only wish you well with future business.
Thank you very much, Tyler. Pleasure.
Thanks.